Hello you two, hope you are all well. This is your Monday's literacy lesson. So last week we looked at winter. So we did some winter art. You went for a winter walk and see if you could spot signs of winter outside. And on Friday you'll have analysed, which means pick out key details or features of a poem. Now, as you know, poems are very different from stories. Now, stories often have beginnings like once upon a time or one early morning, whereas poetry is very different. It doesn't have a beginning like that. Poetry is all about mixing, it's about playing with the words, having fun with them. Poems can be about anything. It could be about feelings, about emotions, it could be about objects, it could be something real or something that you've imagined completely. Okay, it's things that you want to write about. So this week we're going to be writing our own winter poems. Before we go on to further to look at that, I'd like you to look at some of your spellings. Now, your spellings this week are all about suffix. Now, let's have a look and find out what is a suffix, as we've not done this in Year 2 before. So what is a suffix? A suffix is a group of letters that can be added onto the end of a root word, which is like a main word, to slightly change its meaning. So, for example, walk, and if I add the suffix ing, it becomes walking. Now, the suffix ing is added to the end of a verb, and a verb is an action word or something that you do. For example, kick, clap, hop, jump, and it shows something. And when we add the suffix ing to the end of a word, it shows something is happening in the present, which means it's happening right now. So, for example, I kick the ball, and I can add the suffix ing, and it becomes I am kicking the ball, and it's showing what you are doing. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. So you'll need your literacy books and you'll need your pencil. Now, you can undo your spellings just underneath your learning objective. You should have some space underneath. So I'd like you to add ing to these words. So, for example, if I had the word walk, I would say or write, I am walking to the shops. I'm adding the suffix ing to the end of a word. I don't want you to write sentences, as I think it might take us a little while longer. What I'd like you to do is add the suffix ing to the root word. So, for example, let me show you. So if I had stick, and if I add the suffix ing, it becomes sticking. So I'd like you to have a go and complete the other 5 remaining words. I'd like you to pause the video and write those words down, and then you can come back and check your answers, okay? Okay, so let's have a look then. So pick becomes picking, pour becomes pouring, sing becomes singing, play becomes playing, and say becomes saying. Now, if you got those correct, I'd like you to give yourself a little tick. If you've not got the correct spellings, or if you made a mistake, I'd like you to write the correct spelling next to the word, please. Okay, now your grammar for this week is apostrophes, and apostrophes for contraction. Apostrophes can be used to show 2 different things. Apostrophes can sometimes be used for possession, to say when something belongs to someone, okay? Or an apostrophe can also be used to take out words in certain places. So if you had 2 words and you wanted to make one word, you'd take out certain letters and you would show or write an apostrophe to show that some of the letters are missing. So let's have a look. Right, I'm unfortunately I can't click on the video clip here, but you can click on the link in the blog and watch the clip, and it'll tell you a little bit more about what an apostrophe is. Okay, so let's go back to over here. This is the Squeeze-O-Matic 100. It squeezes 2 words together and takes out a letter or a couple of letters to make a shorter word. Here are some words that go into the machine, and it says, can you write the words that should come out? So, for example, there's 4 here. So I want you to have a go at it. And it is a bit tricky, so have a go with your grown-up. I'm not expecting you to have the correct answers the first time, okay? But you will get better as we go along this week. So, for example, if I had are not, I could shorten that word to aren't. Okay, and I have taken out the O. So where the O is, I would put the apostrophe there. Okay, to show that I've moved the R. Okay, I'd like you to have a go at doing the other 3 examples. You don't have to write those down. You can just discuss those with your adult. Okay. So moving on to expanded noun phrases. So we did some work on these in the autumn term. An expanded noun phrase is usually describing a noun in much more detail. So you're using adjectives which are describing words, okay? You might have 2 or more adjectives to describe a noun. So let's give you some examples. So here I have a couple. So the first one is the muddy blue car. Now, the car is the noun in this phrase. The words muddy and blue are the adjectives. They are describing what the car looks like. It's muddy and it's blue. What I'd like you to do with your grown-up, just quickly chat with them. You don't need to write these down. Just tell me if you can spot the noun, which is the noun, and which are the adjectives in each of those phrases. Okay, let's describe this picture. Now, this picture is or shows some icicles. Now, you may or may not have heard that word before. An icicle is usually a piece of ice that hangs off a door, a roof, a shed, anything really, and it's formed by the freezing of dripping water. So when temperatures get really cold and water freezes, the water then forms into an icicle, as you can see. What I'd like you to do is to look at the picture and turn to your grown-up and see if you can think of any expanded noun phrases to describe what you can see. Okay, I'll give you a minute to discuss your ideas. So pause the video and then come back and check your answers or share your ideas. Okay, here are my examples I came up with. Okay, I had cold dangling icicles, sharp pointy icicles, as you can see some over here, hard cold glass, crunchy cold ice, long pointy icicles, melting dripping ice, cold freezing ice. Now I have a few examples. There's not many, but you may have come up with more of your own, and that's okay. So your task today is to plan the vocabulary for your winter poem. Now, in your books, in your literacy books for Monday's lesson, you have these sheets stuck in. Now, yellow group, you will just have the one sheet, which is this one where it says weather and food. And red and orange group, you will have 2 sheets. So you'll also have this second one here. So they should both be stuck in your books. You're going to plan your vocabulary. Now, I don't want you to write full sentences. I want you to use your expanded noun phrases and jot those down for me. Okay. Now, green group, your sheet is slightly different. Now, you're going to describe the snow, okay, snow and ice. And I'd like you to use your senses. So tell me what you might smell, what might you see, what might you taste even, what sounds you might hear, and if you were to touch something, what would it feel like, okay? So I want you to use your word mats. So everybody should have word mats in their learning packs. Okay, I'd like you to use your word mats to help you plan the vocabulary. What I don't want you to do is to copy all the words off your word mat, because that's not the point. I want you to think of your own words, but they are there to help you with any spellings or to give you some ideas. Okay, so you can have a go at doing that. So here is my waggle, because if we were at school, normally we'd work together, share your ideas, and we'd write some ideas down. So here are my ideas. So for weather, I've got freezing, cold ice, dark, gloomy weather, whistling wind, soft snow. For food, I've got, and I wanted to describe the hot chocolate in my top picture, which looks really yummy. So I've got sweet smelling hot chocolate dripping, licking, slurping, soft, squidgy marshmallows melting. For clothes, I've got woolly hat and scarf, keeping warm and cozy, splashing puddles, wearing wellies. For sports, I've got slipping and sliding, zooming on skis. Now, skiing is a very special type of sport that people play in winter, and it's very popular indeed, so you can maybe write about those, or maybe you could even have a look on the internet if you want to and see what skiing is if you don't know what kind of sport skiing is. Snowball fights and having fun. Now, by no means is this finished, but these are some ideas that I've given you just to help you with your plan. Okay, so I want you to have a go now, writing your ideas, writing your key vocabulary. Think of the adjectives, think of how you can use things like alliteration, rhyme, think about verses, think about imagery or things that come into your mind, how they make you feel. So I want you to have a go, and hopefully I will speak to you tomorrow where we will be writing our poems using our plans. See you tomorrow. Bye.